Ahoy, peace and blessings, welcome back. 42 Divine Laws of Mayat, number 26. I have not cursed God or Goddess. Alright, you have to realize that, there is one true God, there's a God over all, you know. There's also other beings that some people may consider gods, who are not the one, but who are a part of the one. You might consider them lesser deities. You might consider, in the book, they'll say angels will come, but they'll appear like they're God. Sometimes, a lot of times, angels will come, and just because people are unexperienced, that might be the first angel they've seen or interacted with, they might think that angel is a God, or it could be the first demon you've interacted with, or someone has interacted with, and they'll think that demon's a God. There's a lot of false idols, there's a lot of false gods in the realm. And it's just something you really have to enhance your perspective on. You really gotta wipe your glasses off, you really gotta zoom in, you really gotta have a fine, sharp perception. My belief, even in the Bible, the Bible is most of the time, is talking about the true God, but there is certain passages, and they're referencing a false God. That's blasphemy, whatever. But that's just my perspective of it, because you just in my own view, the true God is always peaceful. The true God always has all the answers. The true God always knows what he's doing. It's like a perfect run. It's literally a perfect person, a perfect spirit. But there's passages in all these mythologies and religions and stuff where you'll see God getting angry. You'll see God going to war and things of that nature. That's always the false God. The true God never goes to war. The true God never loses. The true God never worries. The true God is never stressed. So a lot of people, a lot of spirits you'll encounter are false gods. You can never curse God or goddess. It's not even possible. You're nowhere near as strong. No one will ever be as near as strong. Just the power gap is literally infinite. No matter how strong you get, we can become very strong. We can become very in tune with nature and magic and divinity. But God is God at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we're His children. We can become very strong. Even in the book it says we can become stronger than the disciples back then. Jesus back then. And we can be, but God is still still just on an unreachable level. Just an untouchable level when it comes to cursing and war and things like that. When it comes to conflict, fighting, and witchcraft and things of that nature. That's the difference. You can curse the false gods. You can kill these false gods. You'll hear religious practitioners, spiritual practitioners, occultists talk about killing demons and things like that, killing false gods. I don't really hear about a lot of that stuff on the internet. But it's a possible thing. I've killed false gods and things like that. But you can never kill the actual God, the true God, the one, the highest source. But a lot of beings will get that strong that people can be fooled by them. People can just get it wrong. Because there's principles and there's teachings that can help you and then help you with your ascension and help just in your day-to-day life. But dealing with God goes beyond teachings and principles. It's actual life and existence. It's in the moment. It's your true self. And it's a very fast process. It's natural as conversation. It'd be weird to have a conversation and then pause for hours and then keep the conversation going. You know, pause for days or years and keep the conversation going. It's like having a war and we're gonna pause the war for 5 years while I figure it out. You know, that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen at all. It's a quick process, just dealing with these higher spirits and stuff like that. But the true God is showing us, you know, there's another way. We never have to revert to cursing, you know. We never have to revert to going to war, to being unpeaceful, to being unpure, you know, to spilling blood, to wishing death, to throwing stones. You know, that's what the true God teaches us. False gods we can get in our ego. You know, they can get in our ego. They can get in their ego. You know, they can be emotional. They'll lose at that. It's a very quick game. You know, they'll lose at that game though, of that true insight. You know, God actual level insight. You know, you can tell these fake lesser spirits, they have to think and things like that. You know, they have to feel and things like that. They're still taken from lower energies when you're talking about an infinite scale. You know, so it's never. You know, you can never curse the true God. True God is the true holy, the true divine, you know, but there's other beings that can be cursed, you know. People curse humans and stuff like that. The same way curses don't work on you, curses don't work on us because we are God's children, because we're tapped into that divine nature, you know, because we're a part of that source. Just in a lesser, I won't even say lesser form, just in a less advanced form, you know. We're still like protected. But there's other energies, you know, there's false gods that aren't protected. There's a whole lot of different like beings who are not God and God is in the world. You get what I'm saying? There's only one. But a lot of people will be praying to like a false god. They don't even know it. Just because this false god is so strong, you know, you can be confused, and there's not really nothing wrong with that. When the person's in, there's something wrong with that when the false god's in. You know, in my opinion, pretending to be God, taking that name, but you know, the false god's energies be so like God. It makes sense. You know, it's for some reason again outside of my understanding. But God knows. You know, God knows we should still be even peaceful with them. You know, we should all coexist. We should all be able to get along. No one has to be stressed. You know, no one has to be going to war, and no one has to be getting cursed or cursing. Even the false gods, you know, that's like my duty here, like trying to convert even like the false gods and stuff. Like you'll always get to that point if you're like really new on that spiritual path that involves you like being a knight, being a soldier, being a warrior. You know, you'll get to the point where you're tired of killing things. Like everyone reaches that point, so you gotta start like talk no jutsuing and stuff. This is the talk no jutsu, for real. You know, everyone can be forgiven, everyone can be redeemed, and it takes a very strong spirit to point out a false god. You know, I've been fooled by beings thinking they were God and things like that, just because they're like doing very high level magic and stuff like that, going through very like divine experiences. Because they're just a spirit and they're just a being, just like a person almost, you know. Like I just view them as like strangers as people, for real. But you know, use your discernment. Like, would God be angry? Would God be yelling? Would God be furious? Would God be doing a bunch of negative stuff? So like, get real. It's like you're obviously a false god. You'll hear me like cursing in some videos and stuff like that. It's really just to the false god. The real God can never get cursed, you know. The real God knows what I'm talking about when I'm like, man, fuck God, fuck. It's these false gods, you know. A lot of people live by false gods, false kings. You know, they're just here on the earth with us. You know, there's a bunch of false idols here on the earth with us. You know, my energy gets confusing. Just I'm with the real God and the false God, trying to just make everyone get along. You get what I'm saying? So I understand. But you know, actually cursing someone's God, like I would not recommend doing it. One, I can guarantee you, you don't actually have a good reason to do it. You know, I've been in those positions just in a very high stressful state, and things are happening very fast. Stuff, you know. And I'm just going off the best knowledge I have at the time. You know, the best knowledge you have at a certain time might be to destroy a false god, to kill a false god. You know, your first one, your first couple of ones, kill a demon and stuff like that. But it's like a futile approach, for real. Like, you can do it to some of them. You can't even do it to all of them. You know what I mean? There's some spirits out here that are immortal, just like God. You know, they took after that part of him. You know, they inherited that part, but they didn't inherit all of him. You get what I'm saying? Knowing we can't. I don't want to see. It's just the nature of words, right? Like, we can inherit all of him. We do inherit all of him, but a single person or spirit is like there's still more. You get what I'm saying? That's the hypocritical, complex nature of infinity. It's like we can inherit all of it, but there's still more. You know, it doesn't make sense. It literally doesn't make sense. I hope you understand the energy, though. You know, you can't inherit all of God and then become God. You can inherit all of God and be yourself. You know, these fake spirits will act like they inherited all of God and there's no more God and there's only them. You get what I mean? And it's their say-so. Curses are just immature magic. Curses are very basic magic. You know, it's very childlike. Even if it's the most effective curse in the world, works on everybody, right? The highest guy is showing you it works on everyone because you okay, cool. Like, what's the point now? You get what I mean? It didn't solve anything, right? It's still, you just put a bunch of negativity into the world. You know, it's not utopia. It's not heaven. It's not your perfect reality. No one's a child and saying, oh, let's go curse some things. You get what I'm saying? People who practice curses are like immature, in my view, because you can't curse divinity. You know, all those curses get reflected back, and you know, if you're cursing a person, that's just fucked up. You cursing actual like God. That God has helped a bunch of people. You get what I mean? It's just your perspective. They could be doing something wrong, but to even get that high and get that much energy, get that strong, they've had to help like whole worlds. You get what I'm saying? They had to help their people. So be careful for curses. You know, be careful people trying to curse you. Those realities where you're immune to it, it's cool. But then there's those realities where, you know, it's like your karma, or you know, those realities where you're just super bored and you're choosing to get cursed for fun. You get what I'm saying? Like, once you become super strong, like, there's beings who get cursed for fun, and then there's beings out here who think like their curse is the worst thing in the world. You know, it's all really based on your perception. You know, we have to be like we have to be like children to enter the kingdom of heaven. So a lot of those things are just like childish, and to the real God, you know, we can be the most ascended, most masterful, precise magic and divinity, you know, but it's still childish because we're children. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's words from the real God. People just make mistakes, you know. Children make more mistakes than adults. They're still learning everything. Just want you to know, you know, truthfully, God loves the false gods, you know. God loves the false idols. I know it says that in a book and stuff, but, you know, he made them for a reason. You know, it's just the highest form of love. It's a higher form of love. And also, like, fun, you know, boredom. Infinity is very, very long time. Spirits can get very strong. They've had an infinite amount of time to get strong. They've been that strong for a long time. It's like, okay, sure. I'll pretend like I'm cursed now. I'll pretend like I'm a false god now. I'll pretend, you know, don't get stuck in your one moment of time, thinking that this is all of infinity, you know. Definitely stay protected, though. If you ever felt like you were cursed, you know that the curse is not going to stay forever. You know one day you're going to be cured from this curse. One day it's going to go away. Everyone's manifesting that. Everyone feels that same way. Whenever you're feeling bad, you know it's going to go away eventually. The evil will go away, the stress will go away, the curse will go away. Just remember, how you view things is based on your willpower, your perception, your experience. When you're feeling really good, it's easier to have the willpower to perceive things how you would like them to be. When you're having a bad day, when you're not feeling good, you don't have as much willpower, things will be viewed more negatively. So you just got to remember, like, there's different versions of you, and some people like those versions more and some people like those versions less. When you're interacting with certain energies, certain people will be more inclined to resonate with you, because they're just like what you're doing currently. It's not like they're like in the real you, they enjoy the real you. God is pleased with the real you all the time. False gods want you to do certain things for them to be pleased with you. People who aren't really your friends, they want you to do certain things or you'll no longer be their friend. You have to like play a role almost. You have to be looked at highly. You get what I mean? The real God already looks at you highly. You don't have to do anything. Some people like you more when you wear black. Some people like you more when you wear red. Some people like you more when you wear blue. Some people like you more when you wear green. But these things are just minor inconsistencies. The real God is consistent. False God's inconsistent. Some people will only like you if you do this. Some people will only like you if you do that. Some people will curse you if you do this. Some people will curse you if you don't do that. The real God's consistent. He will never curse you. He loves you all the time. Your real friends, your real family, they'll never curse you. That's the difference. And it's the same with you. You can never curse the real God, even if you tried. You could never curse the real goddess, even if you tried. Some people have other kings, some people have other gods, literally. Like, to you in your reality, you can see a person, they have their own soul, their own spirit, their own body, etc. But in their reality, they have their own king, their own God, who is not the Most High God, right? And it's important to come in peace with these beings. It's important to be peaceful with these beings. If you do get that insight to see this, because say if there's another spirit who is just as kind, just as loving, just as a good teacher as Jesus, but he's not Jesus, he's not God, he's from some whole nother planet, some whole other dimension, some whole other timeline, some whole other, other divine energies, like some outside divine energies, you get what I'm saying? Some like extended family, It's good to start viewing these things as like extended family. We're all children of God, but there's other things God can show you. You get what I'm saying? God has his own family, like Jesus, his son. He has other people he's working with, other cousins and nephew, like, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. Second cousins, there's beings who are very, very far out who still interact with this planet. You can see them one way. You can see them as very strong, very kind, very nice, very loving, because they're being guided by a spirit that's like that. You get what I'm saying? And they're like that. They resonate, they attract, they connect. But in their own reality, they could just be like a sheep. You get what I mean? They could still be very young. They could still be learning a whole lot from another God, from another king. It can still be very positive, very loving. And you just being naive might feel some type of way about that. But that's like arresting an innocent man. That's like arresting an innocent spirit. That's like saying an innocent person is guilty. If you're ultimately nice, that's what I care about. You have the greater collective in mind. You're bringing peace to this person's life. You're providing life. Some of these spirits are very high. They can even provide life. Some of these spirits are just like God, literally. But they're not. They're still not him. You know what I'm saying? He lets people take his energy. The same way we've taken some of his energy, he lets other spirits and other beings take his energy too, who we don't have too much in common with, who are just very far out from us, very far away from us. These beings can be cursed. That's why I'm kind of giving this warning, don't curse these beings. Don't curse anyone. There's a whole lot going on that you don't know about. There's a whole lot going on I don't know about. They say only God knows the true plan. Not even Jesus knows the true plan. So remember, always move in love, always move in kindness. Always move knowing that you're safe. Peace and blessings. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I love y'all.